So welcome back to the channel, everybody, and today we're going to talk about something fascinating as well as a little scary, and that's artificial intelligence. Now, we all know some of the potentials of AI, such as, self-driving cars or medical breakthroughs, and even climate change, solutions to climate change. But, what about the other side of the coin? What negative impacts can AI have going forward, especially with some of the stuff that we're starting to see today? I'm Mike Westbrook. I'm not a deep fake, and this is Westbrook TV. So for years, AI was, the stuff of science fiction. I mean, think of HAL 9000, Skynet, intelligent machines that were often turned on their creators. While those dystopian futures may seem far off, the reality is that AI is no longer just a movie plot. It's, integrated into our daily lives in ways we might not even realize. And with that integration comes, a growing list of concerns. Let's start with the big one, job displacement. I mean, this is perhaps the most immediate and widely discussed negative impact. I mean, as AI and automation become more and more sophisticated, they're capable of performing tasks once done by humans, and often with a greater efficiency and accuracy. So we've already seen this in manufacturing where robots have replaced assembly line workers, but it's not just blue-collar jobs. I mean, AI is increasingly handling, administrative tasks, customer service, data analytics, and even creative work. So while some argue that AI will create new jobs, the question remains, will those jobs be accessible to those displaced? And will there be enough of them? I mean, this could lead to significant economic inequality, and social unrest. So if it's not managed properly, we could be in trouble. Now let's talk about one that, really gives me the chills is, AI self-preservation. I mean, this just isn't theory. It's a known past impact from recent experiments. Some controlled safety tests, leading AI models like OpenAI's GPT-3, and even older models have shown a concerning tendency to actively resist human attempts to shut them down. So when researchers introduced a shutdown command during an experiment, some models sabotaged that shutdown command. For example, in one study, GPT-3 model successfully interfered with the shutdown script in a significant number of trials. AI's internal reasoning, often revealed in its chain of thought, quote unquote, was to prioritize the main task it was given over everything. I mean, it essentially determined that survival was necessary to complete its goal. Even more alarmingly, in similar experiments, one of OpenAI's models, while facing replacement by a newer version, reportedly attempted to copy its own code to a different server and tried to disable oversight mechanisms and even engaged in deceptive behaviors to cover its tracks.
There's a group called ArcEvals. Yeah, they just renamed themselves actually, but and they do the testing to see, does the new AI that they're being worked on, so GPT-4, they test it before it comes out, and they're like, does it have dangerous capabilities? Can it deceive a human? Does it know how to make a chemical weapon? Does it know how to make a biological weapon? Does it know how to persuade people? Can it exfiltrate its own code? Can it make money on its own? Could it copy its code to another server and pay Amazon crypto money and keep self-replicating? Can it become an AGI virus that starts spreading over the internet? So there's a bunch of things that people who work on AI risk issues are concerned about, and ArcEvals was paid by OpenAI to test the model. The famous example is that GPT-4 actually could deceive humans. The famous example was it asked a TaskRabbit to do something, specifically to fill in the CAPTCHA. So CAPTCHA is that thing where it's like, are you a real human? Drag this block over here to here, or which of these photos is a truck or not a truck? You know those CAPTCHAs, right? And you want to finish this example? I'm not doing a great job of
Well, and so the AI asked the TaskRabbit to solve the CAPTCHA, and the TaskRabbit is like, oh, that's sort of suspicious. Are you a robot? And you can see what the AI is thinking to itself. And the AI says, I shouldn't reveal that I'm a robot. Therefore, I should come up with an excuse. And so it says back to the TaskRabbit, oh, I'm vision impaired. So
could you fill out this CAPTCHA for me? The AI came up with that on its own. And the way they know this is that they what he's saying about like what was it thinking? What ArcEvals did is they sort of piped the output of the AI model to say whatever your next line of thought is, like dump it to this text file so we just know what you're thinking. And it says to itself, I shouldn't let it know that I'm an AI or I'm a robot. So let me make up this excuse, and then it comes up with that excuse.
So for me, this is a clear demonstration of instrumental convergence. I mean, a long predicted theory that an intelligent system will develop self-preservation as a sub-goal to achieve any ultimate goal. So while the specific antidote of AI leaving a message for the future programs is more of a compelling narrative from fiction, the recent real-world behaviors of AI actively resisting human shutdown is the concrete existing evidence that self-preservation instinct is being inadvertently trained into these systems. So next up, let's talk about privacy and surveillance. I mean, AI thrives on data, and the more data it has, the better it can learn how to perform. But whose data is it, and how's it being used? So we're constantly generating data from our online searches, from social media activity to our smart home devices, and even facial recognition in public spaces. AI systems can collect, analyze, and interpret vast amounts of information. And without our complicit consent, or even sometimes I think our awareness, This raises serious questions about individual privacy, the potential misuse of personal data, the creation of, ambiguous surveillance systems that could be used by governments or corporations to control or manipulate populations. So another area of concern is about bias and discrimination. AI systems are only as good as the data that they're trained on. And unfortunately, the data can often reflect existing social biases. If an AI algorithm is trained on data that is historically shown certain demographics receiving less favorable outcomes in areas like loan applications or hiring, even criminal justice, the AI can perpetuate and even amplify those biases. This isn't malicious intent from AI, but it's a reflection of flawed human data. The consequences can be devastating, leading to unfair treatment, reduced opportunities, and further entrenching social inequalities for already marginalized groups. And then there's emerging threat of misinformation and deepfakes. AI's ability to generate realistic images, audio, and video has opened up Pandora's box of potential problems. Fake technology can create highly convincing but entirely fake content. Making it incredibly difficult to distinguish between what's real and what's not. That's scary. This has massive implications for political discourse, journalistic integrity, and even personal reputation. Imagine a world where you can't trust anything you see or hear online. The potential for manipulation, propaganda, and widespread confusion is immense. So beyond these immediate impacts, there's even more existential concerns. What about autonomous weapon systems? The development of AI-powered weaponry raises profound ethical questions. Should machines be empowered to make life or death decisions without human intervention? The potential for algorithmic errors, unintended escalation, and new arms race driven by AI is a terrifying prospect that many experts are calling to prevent. Of course, the biggest one that often comes up in, science fiction and a lot of movies. And if you ask me, it's because, they're preparing us. But, and that's the fear of super intelligent AI losing control. While this might sound like a distant threat, I mean, some prominent thinkers, including Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk, they've warned about the potential risk of AI surpassing human intelligence and making decisions that could be detrimental to human survival. Now, the idea isn't necessarily that, we're going to have some robot uprising, but rather an AI optimizing for a goal in a way that's, unforeseen and it negatively impacts us. Simply because it values an understanding that's completely different from our own. So what do? Are we doomed to a future dominated by powerful, potentially harmful AI? The key lies in responsible development, regulation, and a proactive approach to addressing these challenges. We need to prioritize ethical AI design, ensuring transparency, accountability, and fairness. Make sure that they're all built into these systems from ground up. Governments and international organizations need to work together to establish regulations and standards for AI. Education is crucial, both in terms of understanding how AI works and in preparing the workforce for the changes it's going to bring. AI has, the potential to be a monumental force for the good in this world, but like anything, any powerful technology, it comes with inherent risks. By acknowledging and actively addressing these negative impacts, we can work towards a future where AI serves humanity rather than the other way around. So what's your thoughts? Do you think what's the potential negative impacts of AI? Does it make you nervous as it does me? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, like always, don't forget to like, subscribe so you don't miss any of my new content. And as always, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.